Happy Friday, everyone. It is the end of the first week of me being out. I'm sure that Mrs. Haney and I are getting plenty of sleep, that our baby Phoebe is not crying any at all. She is just being perfect and sleeping through the night, and we are just happy and healthy, and everything is going well, and I'm sure that you guys are enjoying yourselves. A lot of that was sarcasm. The end was not. I am sure you guys are enjoying yourselves. Let's get to today's lesson. So we're going to continue our lesson from yesterday, although today we're not going to use manipulatives. We are going to move into drawing. So we're going to continue finding equivalent fractions. It may be easier for you guys as we draw these to be thinking about our fraction bars, these, rather than the circles, because it's just naturally difficult to draw circles. If you use your shoulder, you can get an okay circle, but it's not just beautiful. And then if we're trying to draw another one the same size, it's okay, but it's all wobbly. And if we want to cut these into equal parts, it's going to be really difficult. But with rectangles, we can do a pretty nice straight line, stretch it out as far as we want. Still not perfect, but it's going to be a whole lot more easy to understand, because we can draw another one using our lines the exact same size by lining up our vertical lines with one another. So I can compare this one to this one. Let's say I want to compare 2/4 to 4/6. Well, to draw a 2/4, back to earlier this week, we talked about when we draw them, if it's an even number, we can always start by splitting it in half. So I'm going to kind of eyeball it, and I see about here is half. So I'm going to draw a half, but I need 4 pieces, 4 parts. So think back to yesterday. How many fourths make up a half? 2 do, because there's 4 fourths in a whole. There's 2 halves in a whole. So I can split each of these halves in half, and I will have fourths. But now I want to label this as 2/4. So I'm going to shade, or I want to represent 2/4. So I'm going to shade 2 of these fourths. I do not recommend shading this one and this one, or this one and this one, or any of them separate, because you could do that and it would technically be 2/4. But when we're going to compare them and try to make an equivalent fraction, oh no, I just realized I'm going crazy. We're not even trying to compare. So what I'm trying to do, that'll be next week. There's your sneak peek for next week. 2/4. We want to find an equivalent fraction to 2/4. So I have 2/4. Let's say on your sheet, you are going to be given something kind of like this. Okay, so you'll get one fraction that is filled out and shaded, and you will need to label what it is. Then the other one is only going to have, you'll have your denominator given to you. So however many parts, that'll be your denominator. Then you need to shade this to where it looks like this, and then write what fraction that was equivalent. So let's try that out. Let's say I have 2/4 here. I want to know how many sixths this makes. So what I can do is I can find that same half, because remember 6 is even, so we can cut it in half. But how many sixths would make up a half? How many sixths would make up 1/2? I'm going to show you on the fraction bars real quick. So I've got 1/2, and I've got 1/6. Remember, it takes 2 halves to make a whole. 2/6 is 1/2 the same as 2/6? No? No? Let's try one more. All right, so 1/2 is the same as 3/6, because 3 is half of 6, 2 is half of 4. Anyway, 3 is half of 6, and 1/2 is 1/2. So we want to take each of these 2 halves and split them into 3 parts. Now, whenever we're splitting into 3 parts, remember, we want to use one less partition than the number of parts that we're making. So if we want 3 on this side, am I going to do 3 lines? No, because remember a couple of days ago I said if you put however many partitions you put, you're going to end up with one extra part. So if we want, okay, making sure I'm recording still. If we want 3 parts, we need to do just 2 partitions. And we're just going to, again, kind of estimate. We're going to eyeball this, but I know it's going to be less than a fourth. So I'm going to go about right here and about right here. Is that perfect? No, but they're pretty close. Again, if we think about a cake, if my friend got this and I got this and my other friend got this, we're all going to be pretty much okay. We're not going to fight over it. But I want to do the same thing on this side because I need to have 6 parts. Right now I just have 4. So I'm going to go just to the half, just to the side of the half, and just to the side of the half. Now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 parts. And I need to use this drawing here to compare it to this one. I want it to look just like this one, but with more parts. So I'm going to look how far this goes on the line. And right here, I see that it lines up here. So I'm going to shade from here over. Okay, see how that makes the same distance covered? How many sixths, then, equal 2/4? 1, 2, 3. So it takes 3/6 to equal 2/4. So we have found our equivalent fraction for 2/4. Okay, notice too that I lined these up. If I had drawn this one here, and I drew this one over here, and then I'm like, okay, I'm going to make my sixths and do all this, and I might get kind of close. But if I take my thumb and measure these, are they the same length? Not quite. They're close, but not quite. This one, I've got my thumbnail here, and the tip of the Sharpie here. Here, my thumbnail lines up with this side, but the Sharpie doesn't quite reach the end. So this one is actually a little bit bigger than this one. So that's our first problem. The holes aren't the same size, and we have to have the same size hole to be able to compare or to find an equivalent fraction. Otherwise, all meaningless. So even if I did get it exactly the same size, when I do this and I try to fill it out, I'm like, okay, well, I could eyeball that and say, that kind of looks the same. I've got 2 here and I've got 2 here. So then 2/6 would be the answer. But that doesn't work. So it helps for us to line it up. Let's do one more. I'm going to make a fraction, or I'm going to make a hole here. Let's do fifths. Okay, fifths are really difficult to do. Because we can't put a half. We've just, again, kind of got to eyeball it. So I'm going to say around here, but you guys, you're using pencils. So if you mess up, you can erase it. Are these perfect? No. But notice I only drew 1, 2, 3, 4 partitions, and I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts out of it. Okay, my denominator then is going to be fifths. Let's say I want to do 4/5. So I have 4/5. I want to know how many tenths. How many tenths is that going to give? Or, yeah. How many tenths would 4/5 be? Well, here I can use my fifths that I just drew to copy these lines. Since I have drawn it right above it, I can just line these lines up together. So the first line was here, so I'm going to just bring it down. Here, bring it down. Here, bring it down. Here, bring it down. And now I have fifths. But tenths are how many fifths? Let me rephrase that. How many tenths are in 1/5? Well, we saw yesterday or today. I don't even remember now. I'm making all these videos, and it's all running together. But at some point, I think we saw that 1/5 is equal to 2/10. So we have a couple options here. We could either put a partition down each of these in the half, and we get 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, 2 here, and 2 here. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Or a more efficient way would be to just cut down the middle this way. I'm going to say for this particular instance, let's just cut down the middle this way. Now we've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We've got 10 pieces, 10 parts. The parts are different sizes than these, and we have more of them. However, the whole is the same. And we want to cover the same area with shading as we did here, but over here to find out how many tenths 4/5 is. So I'm going to shade these. Okay, I have covered down to the same area. So how many tenths make 4/5? 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay? When you guys get your worksheet, on the front, this is the easy side. All you have to do is identify the fraction that is given on the left. So you write here, this will be your numerator, your denominator, this is your fraction bar. Then you are going to shade this one to where it looks just like this one. And then whatever fraction that makes, you write its numerator here, however many parts you shaded, and its denominator here, how many parts there are in this whole. Do the same for this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. On the back, it will look different than this does right now. On the back, you are just going to be given some fractions. Like you might be given 3/4. And you're going to have to figure out what that equals. Or figure out an equivalent fraction. So what you're going to want to do with that, trying to get my bearings here. What you can do, super easy. Start by drawing 3/4. Okay, I have a whole. I partitioned it into 4 parts. I'm going to shade 3 of them. You don't have to use a different color, but I'm going to. Just so we can see. Okay? The easiest way to find an equivalent fraction to any of these is after you have drawn your fraction, cut it down the middle. Okay? I'm going to cut this down the middle. Put a partition down the middle. Now I have not 4 parts, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So if I have 8 parts in my whole, what's my denominator? 8. So my unit fraction is now 8ths. And how many 8ths are shaded? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I have 6 out of 8 shaded. And therefore I have found an equivalent fraction to 3/4. 3/4 equals 6/8. Let's do one more example. Let's say I have, I'm trying to think in my head. If we have 2/3, all right? I want to find an equivalent fraction to 2/3, so I'm going to start by drawing 2/3. I'm going to make mine a little bit bigger this time because I want to try something different. Got 2/3. We have to kind of eyeball this. This is about 1/3, about 1/3. Again, I drew 2 partitions to make 3 parts. I'm going to shade 2 of them. So we have 2 out of 3 that are shaded. That's my fraction. Now I want to find an equivalent fraction, okay? Like I said, the easiest way to find an equivalent fraction is to simply draw a partition down the center. And if we did that, we would see that we have twice as many parts, so we'd have 6. And we have 4 of those shaded, so we have 4/6. But another thing you could do is you could choose to split these into 3 parts. Or you could split this into 4 parts. You could split each of these parts into 4 parts, or 5 parts, or 6 parts, or 8 parts. As long as you don't mess with the size of this whole, and you cut each one equally, you can make an endless number of fractions until you run out of space. But since this is already kind of partitioned using the lines on the paper, I'm just going to trace those. Okay, my 1/3 over here became 1, 2, 3 parts. This third became 1, 2, 3 parts. This third became 1, 2, 3 parts. So we have now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 parts. Now we're not really working with ninths, but in this case, this is still an equivalent fraction. We have 9 as our denominator, and then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them shaded. So then 2/3 is equivalent to 6/9. You have the freedom to either cut these in half like that, or I could have cut these in half vertically rather than horizontally, like I think I said earlier. We could even move on and cut each of these in half. And so now we have 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18. And 3, 6, 9, 12 of them are shaded. So then another equivalent fraction would be 12/18. And notice 2 times 3 is 6. 6 times 3, or 6 times 2 is 12 because we cut them in half. 3 times 3 is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. we start to notice these patterns. But for now, I just want you to draw them. So for the back of your sheet, I want you to draw the fractions and then simply split them either into two equal parts like this, or 3 equal parts, or 4 equal parts, but 2 equal parts is going to be the easiest one. I would start with that. Once again, good luck, have a great weekend, and I will talk to you guys again Monday.